เป็นเมวงองมานีเป็นเมวง
Good evening, everyone, and welcome here, and welcome all those there and in between. And many are on their way, I'm told. So thank you once again. Sorry we're a little bit always late, but we better late than never, they call it. So stay very present, and we will do the prayers. Thank you, everyone, before the teachings. As you know, it's very important to believe in the prayers, in your affirmation, your refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. Most importantly, your commitment to practice loving kindness and compassion. And in spite of the difficulties, still look at the small joys, that we are healthy and we have good friends and we have Dharma in our life. The gentleman who did the calm abiding course, he said, during the first course I did, I was so happy. He says, now I'm a little bit sort of, he says, lost the happiness, but I'm a little sort of gloomy. And I said, that's the nature of practitioners. Practitioners become a little bit more aware of the severity of the suffering that sentient beings doesn't need to have, but yet that's what they are plunging into. So we have to always renew our promise, not to lose our heart and not to lose the strength. So that's why these prayers, to practice joy in spite of the sadness there is, practice loving kindness in spite of the ill will and malice that there is, practice compassion in spite of the harm that people seem to try to inflict on you, try to destroy you, try to ruin your reputation, try to defame you, try to pull your legs, try to... all those people do, but still you practice compassion towards them. In spite of not being able to please everybody, even the nearest, dearest, you just practice equanimity. You don't lose heart to them, you just learn to practice equanimity. You don't try to fix everybody's problem when you can't fix yours. Don't ever take the role on. Nor try to be too vengeful and angry and malicious to small mistakes that people make, but even towards them we should practice equanimity. These are so important. That's why we say these prayers, not because they are ritually important at the beginning, but because it's the cornerstone of all the practices. So with this, and we are doing Heart Sutra on top of that. Can you believe it? The Buddha Dharma Sanga aitere Enlightenment by virtue Dalai Lama and the Buddha Dharma Sanga aitere Enlightenment by virtue Dalai Lama and the Buddha Dharma Sanga aitere Enlightenment by virtue Dalai Lama May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never part from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, of those near and far. May all beings have happiness and cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never part from happiness that knows no suffering. May they dwell in equanimity, free from attachment, aversion, of those near and far. May all beings happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never from the happiness that knows no suffering. May they draw equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Now the Heart Sutra. Perfection of wisdom is beyond thought and expression, being unborn and of victors of 3 times. Thus I have heard at one time, Blessed One was dwelling in Rajgriha on Vulture's Peak, together with a great assembly of Sangas, a great assembly of Bodhisattvas. At that time, Blessed One was absorbed in Samadhi on the enumeration of the phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Blessed One, the Bodhisattva, the Mahasattva, Superior Avalokitesha, was contemplating on the meaning of the profound perfection of wisdom. He saw that the 5 aggregates are also empty of inherent existence. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Superior Avalokitesha, how should son or daughter of good lineage train who wishes to practice the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke. The Bodhisattva, the Mahasattva, Superior Avalokitesha, said this to the Venerable Shariputra. Shariputra, whatever son or daughter of good lineage wishes to practice the profound perfection of wisdom should view in this way. They should correctly view those 5 aggregates also as empty of inherent existence. Form is emptiness, emptiness form, emptiness not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition factors of consciousness are empty. Shariputra, in the same way, all the phenomena are merely empty. They are without characteristic, they are not created, they do not cease, they have no impurity, they are not devoid of impurity, they do not decrease, increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no phenomena. There is no I element, and so forth, up to mind element, and up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance, no exhaustion of ignorance, so forth. There's no aging and death, no exhaustion of aging and death. In the same way, there's no suffering, no origin, no cessation, no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they depend on and abide on the perfection of wisdom. Because their mind is without obstruction, they are without fear. Having completely passed beyond all error, they go to the completion of nirvana. All Buddhas who abide in the 3 times, having relied upon the perfection of wisdom, became manifestly perfect Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of perfection of wisdom is the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, great equal to the unequal, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering. Because it is not false, it should be known as the truth. The mantra of perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Dadyadam gade gade bara gade bara zanga de bodhizo dadyadam gade gade bara bara zanga de bodhizo Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barang, Parasanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baraga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Baranga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Dadyadanga Denga de Barazanga de Buddhizo, Shariputra Bodhisattva Mahasada should train the profound perfection and wisdom in that way. Then the Blessed Ones arose from the Samadhi and said to the Bodhisattva Mahasada, Superior Avalokitash, well done, well done, well done. One of good lineage is just so, is one good lineage just like that. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught it. Even the Tathagatas will rejoice in this. The Blessed One, having so spoken, Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasada, the Superior Avalokitash, all that are gathered there, and those in the worlds, gods, humans, demigods, were filled with admiration and praised the words of the Blessed One. Yes, indeed, praise the words of the Buddha. Indeed, that's why we are doing here. We are doing this teaching in praising the words that we hear, the words we comprehend, that word we don't forget, that word we have faith in, the word we develop concentration and meditation and develop wisdom. So without the words of the Buddha Vachana, what we call Buddha Vachana, Buddha is the enlightenment, Vachan is his speech. We should be a disciple grown from the understanding of the hearing the words of the Buddha. Thus I've heard. You should hear something so meaningful that is the words of the Buddha. You don't give credit to any present teacher or his teacher or her teacher or even those 6th century, 8th century Nalanda Panditas who give me a break. Why don't we go straight to the Buddha? Why don't we give credit to the Buddha straight away instead of giving some mysterious figures that are questionable by many people doubt? Why don't we give credit to the Buddha himself? We should. Thus I've heard. Yeah. So I'm glad that I'm teaching from the very Buddha Vachana. I'm not talking about any Indian or even Tibetan or any Indian, Sri Lankan authors here. I'm talking about the words of the Buddha. They are collected in these kind of folio, Tibetan writings, and printed in wooden xylograph. They went to India so far, so many months on foot, and then mastered the Sanskrit, brought them back, translated them, and then wrote them in gold and silver, and printed them in wood carvings. The wood they don't want to use for fire, but kept them, planed them, and carved them, every single word of the Buddha as being precious. So, therefore, we should really go back to the Buddha always, not become distracted by some figures, and then people think we claim this as our master, that's not our master, that kind of thing. We should go back to the Buddha. So these are the 37 factors of enlightenment, are very, very classic words and teachings of the Buddha. And the Theravadins, Mahayana, Vajrayana, everybody can relate to, because these are nothing mysterious origin. This not some sky treasures or treasures found in the river or the rocks or somebody's dreams. Or you don't have to try to paint this amazing esoteric source that came in the vision of someone's meditation. That teaching came this kind of way to edifying the mysterious source is not Buddhism. Buddhism doesn't need to mystify itself. It's the real teachings of the Buddha himself. So we are doing the 37 factors of enlightenment. We have covered the first 17 factors of the 37 covered already, consisting of the first 12 is the three four closely placed mindfulness, four foundation mindfulness we can call them, and then four right efforts or four renunciation and four legs of miracles. Those are the 12. And then last week we covered the fourth lesson, covered the 5 powers. Tonight we're going to talk about the 5 strengths. 5 strengths. In Sanskrit, the words are very different. Last week we spoke of 5 powers. They refer to the 5 sense powers. Pancha Indriya. Indriya means they are the kind of the energy of your 5 senses, more like energy or qualities. But tonight's one, the list is exactly the same, like last week, but it's called 5 powers, 5 strengths. So it's called Pancha Bala. Bala in Sanskrit, the word is Bala is different from Indriya. So let's see why these two sets of 5 are listed again and twice, and what's the difference. The difference only exists if you fathom and comprehend the first 5 as 5 powers. And so when we look at the specific characteristic of the 5 strengths, so we will have to define what the strengths are. Yeah, remember we have this, that each of these 37 factors of enlightenment when we discuss has an objective. There are five topics in each of them. So each of them has one objective, and then the nature of it, then the companion of it, then the meditation, and then the result. Yeah. So when you look at the result of the practice, result of the 5 indriyas and the 5 powers are very, very clearly distinguishable. So, after having taught what the 5 powers are, the faith, diligence, mindfulness, meditative concentration with the 5 powers, now when we talk about what are the 5 strengths, strength refers to a not kind of recently acquired power, but the strength to maintain it without losing it. So we're talking about sustainability, sustained quality of the power is strength. Like you can, when we talk about, like say, power of faith, you can have all kinds of faith when you're very inspired, but you can easily lose it if you don't have the strength in times of toughness. So when you're shaken by everything, when all the things are very adversarial, where's your faith, Your faith is only when everything's going well and it inspires you, then your faith is there. So that's the power bit of it. But the strength bit of it is that you are able to overcome the antithesis of the faith, what is doubt, for instance. So you're no longer relapsible to doubt when you have the strength. But when you have power, you have the conceptual understanding of faith, but you still, deep down, your faith is still shaking in a bit. it is almost like breaking apart. So when we talk about the qualities of this five strength in relation to qualities of five power, we're talking about the path of preparation divided into two. Path of preparation is divided into two. We call them heat and peak. So the five powers we talked last week belongs to the heat and peak of it. Yeah. Whereas the five strengths are the qualities belonging to forbearance and excellent dharma. So we have to therefore look at closely. Buddha said, after you have sufficient understanding of the five powers, Buddha says that then you need to develop the five powers into five strengths. Now, what it means is that you have now strength to be indomitable. Yeah, strength to be indomitable by the opposite of the five powers. Okay? The power of faith. Opposite of power of faith is doubt. With the power of faith, you still have faith, but you still have doubts. You still have doubts, always visiting. Often you wouldn't believe how people lose their faith to the doubt. Why not? Because they haven't reached the path of preparation. They haven't reached the path of preparations of forbearance and excellent dharma. Of course they are relapsable. Your faith comes, your faith goes. Yeah. So, but when you reach the path of preparations, forbearance, it's named after forbearance and excellent dharma. So you have to see what is the forbearance, strength of the forbearance that you have against doubt. Now the doubt will never defeat you, but you will always defeat doubt by the strength of your faith. Why? Your object of, remember of the five topics, your object of the faith is the Dharma, the teachings, the four seals of Dharma, four noble truths. Because your object of your faith is in these teachings, you are not shakeable, or you will not lose your faith because you have the power to dominate doubt. Dominate doubt means destroy. Midziwa means the elephant can't trample you. The elephant of doubt can't trample you because you have dug a ditch during which the elephant fell in there. So you can actually cause your doubt to fall and collapse. Why? You have the strength of the faith. So that's the object. Why? You have faith in the teachings and its truthfulness. The law of Four Noble Truths, Four Seals of Dharma, faith in the Triple Gem, power of bodhicitta, and all of that is strong enough for you to become indomitable. You have the power of strength, faith that is, strength. Your strength is when everyone turns very weak and collapsing all over, you stand still. That is the path of preparation of forbearance. Forbearance means you can bear the hardships for a great purpose in the future. It may not be so enjoyable to your liking, but your life is not about enjoyment and happiness. Your life is about doing what is hard but need to be done. Yeah, incredible. When it's very tough, you need to show your forbearance. You need to show your objective is to have faith in the teachings. Remember, your objective is to have the faith in the teaching, and the nature of your strength of faith is that it is indomitable. It is very resilient. And companion of of the faith, that is the strength, is diligence. Is all the teachings that you've heard and read and studied and practiced. You're listening, you're thinking, your meditation. You realize that your meditation, your daily prayers, your study, all this, are the companion. When you're shallow, when your knowledge and understanding of Dharma is very shallow, then your practice and forbearance of it, when things are very, very tough, very, very difficult, you give in to your doubt. How many people have often fallen off the track because of doubt? Doubt is such a forceful. People are mostly devoured by the doubt. They don't have rationale to defeat the doubt by the power of the faith. If they have faith in the objective of the Dharma, if they have faith in the teachings, Dharma, not faith in some kind of people or something, most people are putting faith in the people, deluded people, who has karma, who is suffering, who has baggage. So our objective is wrong. Faith should be in the Dharma, not in the people. See, the objective of faith is Dharma. So, but there people are putting faith in people, people's karma. People also thought, like Moggallanaputra was some arhat, and he's beyond karma. Moggallanaputra, even though was arhat, but he still had karma left to be killed by mob violence. He couldn't escape his karma. So even arhats had karma. So that's why we shouldn't have faith. We should have objective faith is Dharma. See? First of the 5 points is the object. Faith is in the Dharma and the teachings, and also our realization of it. We shouldn't rely just on words and text. We should realize them. That's why we meditate, until they become realized. You really want to Gyurba in Tibet and become so manifestly true that it becomes so true that you realize the virtue of faith in the Dharma, because you're not placing faith in other things. What do you faith in people? You think they will save your life? Buddha never promised that he even can save your life. So why are you putting faith in people? Why are you putting faith in some miserable lineages and some hats? Divided by color of hat and robes, this kind of Buddhist. They never have heard the Buddha, his teaching. They have to put the faith in the right object, the triple gem. I don't see much Buddhist scriptures that says have faith in the Guru or the person. It's only in the Vajrayana Buddhism, Lama, they say you should have prayer to Guru all the time. While that is okay for a limited small group of people who are really advanced enough to understand the esoteric Vajrayana, but main thing we should promote the triple gem, the object of faith. Even among the triple gem, the main object of faith is the Dharma. And when you faith in the Dharma itself, then your object of faith is correct. And then you will be indomitable. You will not be doubting the truthfulness of teachings. Even that, most people have not. They don't get it, because they have not reached the path of preparation, let alone forbearance and excellent Dharma. And because if they don't know the object of the faith is incorrect, how would the nature of the faith would be? Nature of faith would be attachment. People attach to people. They only have faith because they attach to people and status of somebody, because they're your relative, because you're from the same town, or because they're your in-laws or something. Incredible reason to become, I've seen people bowing down to Sri Lankan monks while ignoring Burmese, because they're only having faith in their robes, their culture. Incredible. So they firstly having faith in robes. Secondly, robe color of their culture. Look at how miserable, looking more and more miserable. They should have faith in the Sangha, that is Arhats and Bodhisattvas. Ordinary Sanghas are never ultimate objects of refuge. So, object of faith is the Buddha, the enlightened one. The Dharma, your own realization of it. And Sangha, the Arhats. When people are now changing the ultimate objects of refuge of Buddha Dharma into the relative and conventional one, then I idealize them, expect them all. That's why their objectives wrong, and so is the nature. Then nature of the faith is not faith, it's attachment. They're practicing attachment yoga. They're not practicing faith in the teachings. So therefore, our friendship, for instance, in the Dharma, should be based entirely on the Dharma, not on the personality, ups and downs and status or lack of the individuals. If you do that, your faith has neither the correct object nor the nature of the faith. It's not faith, it's attachment. Attachment and devotion can be confused. And then companion, of course. If your faith has got the right companion of friends and who are just inspiring as well, who are diligent as well, who also emphasize the faith and the Dharma rather than anything else, then you have the good companion. Companions who influence you other way around, exactly the wrong companion. So you talk to the wrong people, yeah, that will just dirty your mind, spoil your mind, because you are mixing with the wrong friends. So those who have faith and devotion should have the correct companion. And the nature of the meditation is the person therefore must practice meditation. Practice their sadhana, their study, their reading, their translation or their propagation or their Dharma work or whatever. They should have faith that is not subject to to the doubt. You continuously, indomitably, you must be meditative. Meditating, you should be very present with the faith. Nature of the meditation of faith is your faith must be a living thing. It's not comes in the morning and it just disappears in the afternoon, not that. Once a week, otherwise nothing. It's not like that. It's continuously. You have to have faith in the law of karma. Therefore, when you experience some hardships, do not show a foul face. Sure, it is the result of your karma. You have faith that even karma is changeable. You shouldn't think that, oh, I must have been a terrible person. Look, I'm going through this, and become very much doubting about the law of karma, and then say, oh, my practice of Dharma doesn't help me. Look, I'm going through this bad to worse. See, the doubt is still lingering. The doubt that does not linger is the strength of the faith. Faith in the object, correct object, yeah? Nature of your faith is not attachment. Okay, good. And then companion is diligence. You are mixing with the right people who inspires you, rather than who sow seeds of doubt in you. And you have a commitment to your meditation, your sadhana, your reading, your studying, your community work, whatever you do. You don't see them as a chore. You don't see them. You do them with great faith and confidence that you need to do this. And then the result, the fifth one is the result, isn't it? The result is faith is like the joy, it's like the storehouse of your happiness. You are always motivated. When your faith is indomitable with doubt, then you're very positive. You are very inspiring to other people. You really are always very, very you have always something to inspire others in spite of the difficulties. Why? You have the result. You have the result of path of preparations, forbearance, and the like. So, for instance, if you have the strength of faith that your faith will be indomitable, you say there are worldly gods or demons or Brahma or all other people, whatever, they try to show you miracles, they try to try to upstage the Buddha Dharma, whatever. These will not inspire you. You wouldn't think, oh, this is incredible, you should go and watch this, you should read this is incredible. People who like to feel good for a little while and then give up the actual practice Dharma, become enticed by all those things. You are not, your faith isn't that kind of thing, you're not always looking for something new. No, you are just stable, like a foundation is so stable, it's indomitable by other things, So nothing can reverse, destroy your faith by interest in something, new topic, new idea, new religion, new spiritual things. You get so inspired by that and you completely lose yourself. You are not like that. You're not likely to be enticable and by anything else, because you have this indomitable, irreversible faith. The power of strength of the faith that you have realized also enables you to now practice in the next, which is diligence, the strength of diligence. Strength of diligence is not some kind of haphazard energy comes short and then you get exhausted and then you have to take a rest. Not that kind of sloppy energy comes and goes. You have the steady energy that you, even though you're resting, you don't feel guilty. You have this incredible diligence. Even you're doing ordinary things, you're not feeling guilty. Why? Your diligence is indomitable. Diligence means joyous effort. Your joyous effort does not dwindle to the sadness and depression and discouragement. Yeah? So it's not the quantity you are doing what is called diligent. Means even you're resting, even you're doing nothing, for instance. Sometimes it's better doing nothing than try to fix everybody's mind, everybody's business, and create more problem than you benefit anybody. Sometimes it's better you didn't do anything than upset everybody. Why don't you be diligent to do nothing sometimes and just sleep for a while, sleep without any guilt. So when we talk about the strength of diligence, this is the second strength. Diligence with strength it is so strong that you do not give in to laziness. Laziness doesn't mean that you don't do anything. It means that you are not reprimanding yourself, you're not belting yourself, you're always joyful. That if you rest, you should rejoice you can rest. You don't have to work so like a hell. You should put your feet up and not feel guilty. Still remember the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha. You don't have to lift mountains to prove that you're diligent. So it's this joyous effort that is continuously running, that is not relapsable to depression and sadness. Remember, opposite of joyfulness is sadness, is depression and anxiety. Poor me. You will not relapse. So you can tell if somebody is depressed, they definitely have not reached path of application, path of preparation. There's a lot of practitioners a little bit really, really depressed, rightly so, because they really feel so sad for the plight of the world, like Lang Tangpa. Lang Tangpa, whether he was pretending that he was just so emotional about samsara's plight or not. He's considered to be very great bodhisattva, but he always showing gloomy face. Maybe he's doing this to teach people. But it doesn't mean that you have to always be joyful and chirpy and inspire people, make other people feel guilty either. So when we're talking about the joyous effort that is indomitable, is the strength of strength of joyous effort. Your strength of joyous effort is that you do not pendulum between joy and sadness, joy. This is not kind of interchangeable. There's come to a steady joyfulness. Even say you're losing some grip over material things or worldly things, you are not sad that you're losing things. You're still joyful that I've used as all these years. How wonderful that I don't need to be the possessor and controller of these things. So this is that we're talking about indomitable joyfulness. That you may not be in a position to do much because of your reality. You're aging, or you're sick, or you can't do things, or you don't have the same energy. It's which possible. It doesn't mean you should be so strong that you never stop. You still can do some things, but most thing is joyfulness. Joyful that you don't have to do, and rejoicing that others are doing. That is what we're talking about here. It doesn't mean you can't let go. You can't let go, and yet you don't want to do, you don't want to rejoice other people. Not that kind of misery and meanness. You actually can let go what you can't do, but still your joy of being able to let go almost matches when you're able to do. So what is ability? Letting go is an ability that you didn't have before. Now, it's time for you to let go. That is the indomitable strength of joyfulness that is not dwindleable to this sadness, gloominess, and depression, and unmotivated states. And that's exactly what I mean, the strength. That is indomitable by its opposite. Opposite is laziness. And laziness usually feeling very, very idle, very, very guilty. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I have not enough time. No, I won't do it. Some of the things that maybe is reasonable. Yes, you can't do much. But it's good that you can't do much, but yet let other people do. Let go. So that is what we're talking about here. The objective of strength of joyfulness, is the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, the Bodhicitta, the refuge. Incredible understanding of the 6 paramitas. You should constantly rejoicing, be joyful. Incredible, that inconceivable qualities of Buddha and his teachings. You can never make a session. You just keep doing it, Even you may finish your session, but you still are always rejoicing the Buddha, recollect the Buddha, Joy, then it will inspire you, increase your faith, because the right object you are trying to increase your devotion, increase your joyfulness, You have rejoice yourself. Be joyful that you have bodhicitta, that you have heard bodhicitta, that you have taken bodhisattva vows, that you are renewing it every day. See, that's the joyfulness of having bodhicitta. That's correct object. Correct object. See, the object of diligence. When your diligence is someone else, someone's fitness, someone's availability, you're motivated by them. When they're not there, you're not motivated. So your object is just a miserable person. When they're there, you can be motivated, and they're not there, you have no. Buddha said, he is the constant object of devotion. Whichever direction you should go, you should think of the Buddha of that direction. Why they say that in the teachings? It doesn't say that when you go to the east, think of uncle, and when you go north, you should think of your in-law. When you go to home, you should think of your home. It doesn't say that. They are not objects of diligence anymore. They're just burdens. So, correct object is so important, the objective of your diligence. Objects of diligence. You should be delighted by thinking the qualities, the triple gem, the 4 noble truths, 4 seals of Dharma, and 37 factors of enlightenment. When you do that, then your diligence, your joyfulness is correctly directed by objects of inspiration. And then the nature of your diligence is not just that like a sprint, not like the sprint run joyfulness. It's steady continuously. And then you will also be inspiring other people, and they will also be able to inspire you. You will actually find the companions because you're so positive. You will see anyone who has a Dharma, who has faith in the Dharma and what they do, they will inspire you. Your companions also help you to rekindle your joyfulness. And your meditation, your sadhana, the quality of the sadhana you do is incredibly good because it comes with a heartfelt joyfulness. The meditation, your strength of faith should be in the meditation. When you don't do it as commitment to some schools or teachers or lineages. It's your delight to be doing your meditation. It's not a kind of a tax, or it's not a commitment. You don't have to be afraid of commitment. There's no danger we're doing overcommitting. We wasted so many lifetimes doing hardly anything useful. There's not a lot of danger we'll do too much in one lifetime. So, therefore, one needs to have this one-pointed concentration with the strength of diligence in every endeavor of your life, not just in meditation. Even when you're doing some ordinary menial day-to-day chores, still there's a lot of attention and carefulness, tenderness that you do with a lot of joy and delight. See, this is exactly the Bodhisattva's now. Actually, his pathway application is preparation is happening. It's like every day sadhana, everyday activities is the sadhana, with his meditation is happening. Not just on the cushion, not just in the shrine room. Even in the other areas of your job situation, there you're fully present. Why? Your strength of joyfulness is meditatively there. See, the fourth one is meditation. The result of now the fifth one is the result of your strength of joyfulness is your energy level is unfatigable. You don't have the energy that is exhaustible. You don't have to always look at the watch, always look at how much I'm doing, this is too much. Sure, you can ration your time carefully. You can definitely do incredible well, even in half an hour. When you're disciplined, even you just half an hour, you can do very well. You don't have to do a lot of hours. Just do a little bit, every half an hour, whatever, each day, in whatever areas, you become meticulous in time management. So you're joyful in how accurately, usefully you are using your day. You're using your morning, you're using your afternoon, you're using your weekend, and so on. Even when you're listening to the teachings, you can see the joyfulness in the five points, objective of your joyfulness. You love the teaching so much, there is none other than the Buddha's voice being interpreted and communicated. So you've got to think like that. You should never think that you're listening to one person teaching. You're listening through the conduit of the teachers and lineages, but it's from the Buddha. You have to have such a purpose. We don't have any original teachings we can teach. How? That's why we have all these books and scriptures put there and study there, read there, bring all the way from Tibet or whatever, not to decorate the shrine, not to look Tibetan. That's the least of reasons. It's so that we can actually decipher the meanings, interpret, and then translate, and then communicate to people. So therefore, when you're listening to the teaching also, it should have touch of faith. You have to have, if you have faith in the Dharma, then your objective listening to the teaching is good. And when you have diligence in the actual subjects, and knowing that you can see the distinguish between power of faith, power of faith from the strength of faith. You try to distinguish that. You can see very, very clearly in relation to these 5 topics. And then when your own retention, your own note-taking, or your own one is good, there's a companion. When you're very together, when you have allowed time to listen to the teaching, your mind is very alert, you're very sharp, you really fathom it, you really get it. See all the companions there. So your commitment to listen every week together is the companion you need. This is the commitment. And then you're also listening deeply, not just the words, but the intent with which the Buddha taught these things and how this was translated over the years. Then your mind is so precise in seeing the point where the teaching is teaching us. Then you're really focusing, the joyfully, with faith. And then you are so delighted that you are there to comprehend these teachings. See, the result is joyful, incredible. The joy is so much that it gives you energy, it doesn't exhaust you. Don't know how the hour went. Otherwise, they say, oh, it's 2-hour teaching. God, it's so boring. It's still going on. And see. So you can really look at this. So when we talk about the third one, the mindfulness. So the mindfulness is that you don't forget. You have to have such a mindfulness, strength of mindfulness, that you do not forget the object of faith. Yeah? The nature of faith. The mindfulness. Object of mindfulness is so that you do not get distracted, you do not get dull, you do not get any of the 5 hindrances of the meditation. Does not, dominate you. You instead dominate them. So now you are able to. Your mindfulness so good that you don't forget. So you have the power of non-forgetfulness of all the 8 antidotes. Previously you had, but they slip. Now the likelihood of any symptoms or sign of the 5 hindrances is not there. Why? You have completely destroyed it. You have the strength to destroy them completely, and therefore there is no sign of distraction. There's no sign of dullness. The power of your mindfulness, you always remember the Buddha and the teachings and the bodhicitta, right view. Why? You're mindful of the emptiness, of impermanence, of unsatisfactoriness, of selflessness, of importance of generosity, of importance of kindness, of importance of forgiveness. You have the strength of the mindfulness in all of this. No matter what is happening that is adversarial or that are conventionally hard in your life or in society, you still have the mindfulness of not forgetting any of the antidotes. Even say someone in your life is very difficult, nagging someone, but you still remember their many years of kindness, generosity, help, all that. And small things does not distract you because your mindfulness is so present. indomitably present, these are negligible for you because your concentration is so good. Your mindfulness is so good. So your forbearance level, forbearance is where you do not retaliate or you do not react poorly. And excellent Dharma means that you realize how excellent it is to practice the very strength of mindfulness. You already can tell the sweetness of the strength of mindfulness wherever, whenever you are doing it. Not later on or not before. It's wherever in the very real-time situation. Because remember, we are talking about executing the strength of mindfulness in every situation with the right objective, with the nature, correct nature, with the companion, with the right meditation, and the result. The result of mindfulness is blissful. Mindfulness is blissful, they call it, but when it is utilized, because it has usually when we say Buddha is powerful, when we say usually Buddha has three qualities: compassion, wisdom, and power. This power is referring to is the 10 powers of the Buddha. Here we're talking about how we're trying to accrue these small ingredients of the 10 powers later on, so that we become indomitably strong, that we can actually conquer the 4 maras. Right now we are not talking about conquering 4 maras yet. But due to the indomitable mindfulness that doesn't forget the Buddha, Dharma, and all the teachings, because you don't forget all of that, that's the mindfulness, strength of mindfulness. Someone said that when she remembers her mother's kindness, then she never give up, even though she meets all the difficulties in life. Whenever she remembers her mother's or someone inspiring, then she comes alive and not forget. Like that. We should have such mindfulness to remember the Buddha, remember our gurus, remember the Bodhisattvas, how much they tried, how much they worked to make sure the Dharma comes to us, and we have got it. And then do we not want to remember their kindness or whatever? And such a strength of mindfulness, that you forbear the hardships when it's hard, when it's hard, then show the strength of your mindfulness, then show the strength of your faith, then show the strength of your diligence. We have a saying in Tibetan, when people are really having some really tricky situation, then they all recite Om Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi, they invoke Padma Sambhava's mantra or something. But when they don't have any problem, they are singing carelessly, singing all kinds of songs that doesn't got much meaning. Not that kind of thing, When things are really, really tough, you remember the teachings. You remember the bodhicitta. That is the strength of mindfulness. It's not the mindfulness of just counting the kind of sensation, the tip of nostril. You think that's the mindfulness? No. That's just teaching how to watch the breath. The real mindfulness is that you remember that 4 noble truths, the importance of loving kindness and compassion in the opposite time, when people are very difficult, malicious, and hard on you, that you remember the merit of loving kindness and forgiveness and bodhicitta. That is the strength of mindfulness we are talking here. Not the mindfulness of being able to walk on a rope or on a narrow bridge or something like that. People do that. People do that just for the sake of making a living, and acrobatics do that. If If people can do it just for a living, to walk on a rope, I'm sure there's a lot of mindfulness. A lot of mindfulness can be directed to much higher purposes. So you can see human endeavor is definitely not short of mindfulness. His question is to do what? They are mindful. Look at the mindfulness they use to destroy the Twin Tower. You think that's a good mindfulness? No, it's destructive mindfulness. The planning, scheming, coordinating, all of that. You think the mindfulness is great? No, those mindfulness is completely misdirected mindfulness. We have to talk about the objective of mindfulness, the nature of the mindfulness, companion of mindfulness, the meditation of mindfulness, a result of mindfulness. That's why these teachings, says these 5 topics must accompany each of the 37 factors of enlightenment. Then your comprehension will show you a good, you have a good comprehension. You understand the Dharma. You realize how true the Dharma is. If people realize it, you can see the color. They show the steadiness. They show the incredible depth of deep mindfulness, how true the Dharma is. And then, 4th one is strength of meditative concentration. Strength of meditative concentration. So the objective of meditative concentration, what kind of meditation you do, for instance, calm abiding, special insight, deity yoga, sadhana, mantra recitation, whatever meditation you do, they are all your object of strength of meditative concentration. And the fact that you have these sadhanas up your sleeves, you should be fortunate. You shouldn't feel, I should do this, I can't do this, and feeling good about one, not good about not doing this kind of, as if this is for this for that. They all have one purpose. The objective of meditation is only 2. Calm abiding, which is to tame your mind, and then the special insight. That you have to gain insight by having the one point. What is the purpose? They say the conduct of Buddhism is non-violence. And the meditation of Buddhists are union of calm abiding and special insight meditation. Even Vajrayana sadhanas, give me a break, is none other than union of calm abiding meditation and union of calm abiding and special insight. When you do a recitation of mantra, say when you read the Heart Sutra, for instance, reading every word without losing, jumping or forgetting the lines, one-pointedly reading every word, that's the calm abiding. Because reading line by line, with a lot of concentration, even you say if you don't know by heart, you're reading and have the patience to do that, reading the Heart Sutra or reading whatever, chanting, mantra, whatever, one-pointedly saying them wholeheartedly and one-pointedly concentrate, that's the calm abiding bit. Then knowing that when says form is emptiness, empty is not other than form, and then you can see the teaching coming through, that all things that you see or you hear or you smell or taste or touch or remember or feel and opinion, these are all emptiness. So you are actually reading the Heart Sutra, but you are actually meditating on the vipassana, the emptiness of it. So that is the strength of your meditation should be when you're reading the Heart Sutra. Strength of meditation should be reading when you're reading the Bodhicitta prayer, for instance. Sometimes you say them 3 times but felt nothing. It was just a muttering, a lot of recitation, but no one-pointed concentration, no insightful mind that was doing the reading. Because there's no strength in the meditative concentration. There was just chore. Oh, did I do my sadhana? Yes, I did. I think I did, That chore and superficial. Very just form only, no substance. So objective of your meditation, that is what you call strength of your meditative. This is the fourth one, is meditative concentration. Wow, it's a strength. Strength of meditative concentration. Strength of meditative concentration, your quality of your reading, quality of your sadhana, quality of your breathing or counting or meditating on the deity yoga or whatever, is really, really, what you call an incredible concentration. That whole deity's physical appearance, from the crown to from lotus petal to the seed syllable, all of this is incredible gift of visual dharma. That all the 37 factors of enlightenment is comprised in every deity yoga meditation. Or you just look at the stupa, construction of stupa with architecture. Every single design and features and steps represent all the 37 factors. When you look at the stupa, you can see the visual dharma teaching you all the teachings which is represented in the visual monument. So you visit a stupa, it becomes a strength of your meditation. Not just something to take photo and take selfie with it, but actually see that as a expressive visual dharma of the Buddha Dharma in the actual outer monument, a sacred, holy objects that are consecrated, that should be revered, and that should be seen as a visual dharma, constantly inspiring and giving teachings to people. You wouldn't believe how many people become inspired by seeing such monuments. Because it is consecrated, it is the mind of the Buddha that is depicted as a stupa. The mind of Buddha is a complete power of all the 37. So, your objective of meditative concentration is to realize the union of calm abiding, especially inside meditation. The nature of your meditation is unification of these two, not one without the other. Even though you're doing the breathing, even you're counting the breath or whatever, you still have, in the meantime, when you're meditating on the bodily posture, you still know that I'm not really the body, Body is not self, let alone the feelings. So this kind of inside meditation, nature of the meditation could be quite rich. The strength of a meditation is, nature of your meditation so rich, and the companion of the strength of meditation is the listening you did, is the reading you did, is the actual meditation from which you are drawing more realization. So, meditation derived strength. There's a lot of humility there. Those who only study conceptually, have a certificate to hang on the wall, is a very, 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 very fluffy. Have no realization there. No kind of academic kind of materialism. There's a spiritual humility there for one who has truly the accompaniment of the strength of meditative concentration. And then his or her nature of their meditation is not just when they're in the cushion, but even when they're doing other things, they're still in that meditative state. Post-meditation, sessional meditation, why Vajrayana talk about post-meditation? We are even more present when we're eating, When we're eating, we're doing eating yoga or saying the grace at least, and rejoicing the food and the incredible work that has gone in there. You see, there's no time that you are not in the calm abiding of special insight. Why? Because that is the meditation of the meditative concentration. Meditative concentration doesn't come in and go off and switch off and on and off. When you are already in the path of preparation, your meditation isn't start at the 9, finish at 6, and then after that you're like anybody. It's not like that. There is incredible consistency and continuity. The meditative concentration is a strength of that stays with whatever you're doing. There's no slippage when you reach the path of preparation, by the way. And this may be a little bit over most of us, and understandably so. But we are talking that possible stages that your strength of meditative concentration can prove to you. In the Lojong teaching, saying that you can almost catch a running horse. Your concentration is so good that you can just catch a running horse through your concentration and power. That everybody is distracted by everything, but you can just so focus to catch the running horse. This is what we're talking about here. The meditation of the strength of the meditation of the meditative concentration. Post-meditationally or meditative session. Outer form is different maybe, but internally, no. Qualitatively, no. No wavering from union of calm abiding and special insight. And the result of meditative concentration, of the one on the path of preparation, there's no wavering of the concentration from anything. This brings to us to the fifth one, which is the strength of the wisdom. Yeah, the strength of the wisdom is like the power of wisdom. Now, the strength of wisdom here is almost like when you have the path of preparation, reaching to the preparation and forbearance and a peak or an excellence of Dharma. Your meditative concentration gives you the result wisdom. The result wisdom is the result of all the form of four. Because they are all mutually inclusive. Remember. These fivefold strength are mutually inclusive. They're not some kind of unrelated topics put together. They're all like the 5 fingers of the same hand, So you need all the 5 fingers to knead the dough or whatever, to hold the axe or whatever you want to do, Even to do this gesture, I can't have I have to have all the 5 fingers. So, faith, diligence, all strength of faith, strength of diligence, strength of mindfulness, strength of meditative concentration, and the strength of wisdom. The objective of strength of wisdom is emptiness, the bodhicitta. Yeah? Different people meditate on different things, depending on what they are. But one on the path of preparation, objective of his meditation is on the glimpsing of is on the eve of realizing emptiness. Object of realizing the strength of his wisdom is glimpsing the eve of realizing emptiness of self. The nature is that there's nothing heavy in the self. Because the self is hollow anyway. It's just merely labeled. It doesn't have anywhere do you look or you couldn't find. Remember, the nature of self is completely blown up out of proportion. There is no self. The nature of self, that is your meditative, that is your wisdom, is you actually have the wisdom discerning the emptiness of self. And the nature of that is such that you do not have this fear of me, or fear of not happening this and that. Because fear comes from grasping to self. Nature of the wisdom discerning emptiness allays the fear of aggregates, or your aggregates, or whatever. Your aggregates by nature transient, so don't have to even fear they're not, because they are. You don't have to be afraid that your body might be going through some fun wear and tear, because they are, You don't, if you have a regular medical checkup, just to prove they are transient. Just to prove they are transient collection. Not to disprove your body is healthy. It's a proof that your body is disintegrating. That is the checkup. So the modern medical checkup is very good. The more medical checkup you have, the more the file gets bigger. The file is a proof of uselessness of your body. From the toes to the crown, from the skin to the marrow, nobody wants it. It's almost a way out. You don't have fear that you will lose your body because you don't have one. You don't have fear that you have no friendship with someone because you don't. Even if you had, they will be not there. It's impermanent. It's emptiness of self. How could you have feeling? Feeling is emptiness. It says Heart Sutra. I don't know who has the feeling. Feeling itself is empty. Who will have it? The empty feeling. Feeling is emptiness. This is engraved in the rocks. And written in gold. Why the Tibetan want to waste gold on writing saying feeling is emptiness? Incredible. They don't waste on some lyrics written by some singers, Feeling is emptiness. It's really good for your mug, Yeah, make some bumper stickers. Feeling is emptiness, and distribute in the town. And you're disseminating Dharma. It is. Your strength of your wisdom discerning the emptiness of self is your object. And you are indomitable, thinking that you don't have the same degree of fear, relation to your body, feeling, property, possessions. All of these things are not only impermanent, they're empty. You have this kind of strength of the wisdom. You're still very, very functional in the world, ordinary world, by the way. You're not becoming some kind of mad yogi who's very dysfunctional, who thinks he knows these things, but he's become a bit of a burden to everybody. It's not like that. And Bodhisattvas on the path of preparation got some decency, He knows how the conventional world, he's skillful enough not to make himself a crazy yogi, Don't believe in those crazy yogis, okay? There should be sane yogis. The more realized they are, more sane they are. Outer behavior should still be in accordance with the society he lives in, they say. In the attitudinally, always bodhicitta. In the secret, always the wisdom. So that is this is the what do we call? Strength of the wisdom. And accompaniment is his study, his meditation, his listening, his books, the sadhanas he do. They're all there. They're all there speaking to him every day. He reads his sadhana, this incredible understanding, that line that you normally read, you didn't pass. When you read Heart Sutra, you just see that just feeling is emptiness. So are all things. Incredibly so profound that you can barely utter it. It totally shakes the ground of your sense of what you thought was stable. Almost it removes all the fear out of you because you don't exist. If you don't exist, that would be a relief, because then who will have fear? This is what we're talking about, the strength of the wisdom. Then the meditation of the strength of wisdom is not, when you say feeling is emptiness, emptiness is feeling is no other than emptiness, it's not just because when you read it, but when you actually see the feelings coming, looming in you, you're already meditating in the emptiness of it. Yeah? So your meditation isn't just when you're reading or sitting down. Your strength of meditative concentration is meditative concentration on the very subject of emptiness. And the result of that? No grasping. No grasping to that. No grasping even to that. So, because of that, it says that when all the antitheses of the five strengths are overcome, the antithesis is doubt. You will not spend in doubt, and no anxiety either. If you have develop the strength of faith, you won't have any doubt. Because you have quashed it, you are totally destroyed it. Your strength is so much, and this level of meditative concentration totally overcomes it. Not just in meditation, but outside meditation too. It was quite. Some of the commentary says, what's the difference between these two? So during the power of faith, your faith is still there, but still doubt is just waiting to take you over. So unless you're doing really, really many things to keep your faith alive, your doubt is just attacking you, ambushing you. But you're just suppressing them by your thick skin, so to speak, and you just pretend as they don't exist. But with the strength of faith, you don't even see the sight of any doubts coming you. Yeah, there's there's no sign of the existence of doubt in you, because you have totally conquered it. That's the strength. So the difference between the first one is more like conceptual faith, not the ordinary conceptual faith. You still have power of faith in the law of impermanence and karma and bodhicitta and all of that. You still have that, but you could still suffer a slippage. You could probably lose them by doubt caused by other people. But when you have the strength of faith instead of power of faith, even if the people try to discourage you, plant doubt in your mind, you do not have the slightest danger of losing to the discouragement and poisoning that people try to do to you. Of course, you will never do poison to others. You probably can inspire other people instead. It's so easy to sow seed of discord and doubt in other people's mind. Just as hard it is to sow the seed of confidence, a seed of indomitable faith. Even if you have, can you plant that in others? Some great beings have, just by seeing them, they bless you so much. Just by seeing them, your faith has been stabilized. Because they represent so much of the Dharma that you believe in. Others cannot inspire you nearly same amount. This is what we're talking about. The distinction. You have the incredible, they say, unbreakable faith in the triple gem. So on. And to engage in the 37 factors of Dharma or practice of enlightenment, your strength of diligence is so much vigorous. It comes with such a vigorous supply. And whatever you remember or studied and listen and acquire teaching and practices, you have this strength of not forgetting them. You remember every detail of those teachings, which one goes with what, why this is so, why that is so. Your study and learning and reading has completely boosted the strength of your non-forgetfulness, which is mindfulness. And you are not discourageable, or you're not going to be agitated or wild all of a sudden. There's no likelihood of that happening. Why? You have the strength of concentration. Your concentration is indomitable. Like when the Buddha was attacked by Maras, his unconditional loving kindness toward the Maras was just as strong as it was, and to the Maras, all the things they hurled at him became more beautiful floral patterns, and even the things they fired didn't have any any kind of adverse negative effect. Why? The incredible compassion, the meditative concentration of the Buddha was so much loving kindness into the Maras that it has the power to change the whole thing because of that. And you never doubt the veracity and truthfulness of Dharma ever again. This is the strength of your wisdom. So, with this, the strength of faith will make you to now glimpse the eve of the path of seeing. Whatever hindrances there are, because there is a kind of interrupting hindrances and uninterruptible ones, and then slowing of interrupting ones, and then not interruptible state, an uninterrupted state, and then spontaneous state. So you can actually see your diligence level is, never mind you have some still residual of thinking of self, but that you can see them very clearly interrupting your flow of emptiness of self. You can see them, but you are able to now recognize them, that this is a sign of the eve of realizing path of seeing. So you actually have those hindering factors, interrupting factors become cause of strengthening your faith, not shaking your faith. Like in meditation, when you first have no obstacle, when first you will learn to meditate, you don't want any obstacles. And then when you have lots of obstacles, manifest dullness, sleepiness, tiredness, then you get intimidated by them. You almost have hostile towards them. Later on, you learn to make friends with those things, and then they don't really intimidate you. They become useful, and then they later on they are indispensable for your progress. Like that, the power, the strength of your faith is such that you are indomitable by any of the things, such as attachment to your bodily comfort. There is a time that you do no longer have craving and desire for food or companion or drink or temperature or particular things in the that level of path of meditation, path and preparation meditation. That you are actually, you don't mind the lack of food or you don't even think of a food so much. So as your practice is so much that you're not craving, your craving has diminished. Your wanting to meet or missing people, all those things doesn't occur because you have a quashed attachment. Your object of meditation is so strong that, and the faith is so strong that your attachment has decreased and your detachment has increased. This is the power of the faith. Faith is that which brings to the harvest. Faith is the one that sows the seeds to become sprout. You can now see the sprout of your non-attachment, your non-craving, non-grasping, is the power, is the strength of your faith. And the strength of your diligence is that you are not attached to possessions. You're not delighted by things. You not fight over things. Things are less important. But how to treat and show kindness to people is more important. Don't fight over things between people. Give things to people if that's going to make them happy. Because you have such joy to give. See, you have so much detachment from material things. So the power of your diligence is diligence in giving away things. Diligence, giving away things. There's a story of Drogmi Lodzawa. At the very beginning, his wife thought, he was very demanding for his students and saying, bring gold, unless you bring gold, no teaching, that sort of thing. And later on, he met one disciple called Setun Kunrik. After he met the Setun Kunrik, then he wasn't demanding any gold, anything from him. He didn't give any monetary things. Then she said, why are you giving him everything so free? He said, now I found a real student. So, I don't need any gold. I don't need any gold. This gold demanding was just to test how dedicated they are. And this boy was a shepherd, and he cried when he heard the teachings, and I can tell that he is the right kind of vessel. So he said, I'm delighted to give him everything, and because of him proving to be the appropriate vessel. So it's not so much the material is important. You don't become so attached to material things. That is the strength of your diligence. You become miserable over things, you're still in samsara. You're not attached to material things. You are diligent to give them and let the others have. That's the strength of diligence. Sign of reduction of attachment to material possessions. And have happiness to give. And not just to give, but give to good causes. Not to give to what the favorite object, to your own people, or like that. To your own schools, or to your own, like that. Give whoever needs it. That kind of detachment. The strength of mindfulness is that whatever you experience unfavorable things today or in recent years, you have the power to remember exactly this and that I did to him or her. And that's exactly the result I'm going through. So, when you're going through some adverse situation, you will have this power of strength of mindfulness, and not discouraged by them, but encouraged by them ripening now and exhausting them. Yeah, this is the power. This is the strength of mindfulness. So if the good things are happening to you, you know that these are merit, harvest of this. Harvest of the good karma you did, and blessings of the Buddha, lineage, parents, and Dharma. You give credit to everyone else. You're so diligent. You're so mindful to do that. You have such strength of mindfulness, not to think it's all because I earned this, it's all my own doing, that kind of thing. attached to the fruit of outcomes. Seeing that as a generosity of other people, blessings of the Buddhas, and non-deceptive nature of the karma, and so on. The strength of your meditative concentration is that you do not have the slightest intimidation and fear and anxiety and doubt. You have so much a diamond-like meditative concentration. It's so precious. It gives you so much confidence and certitude that your meditative concentration will quash all the defilements. Come my way, you are fully equipped. And the strength of wisdom will uproot any lingering propensities. They are only the last residuals. Because when you have the path of preparation, now you're about to take off, You're about to take off from the mundane meditation to the transcendent meditation, especially insight, when you see the path of seeing. So you can see these 5 strengths, although shares the same 5 names, but they belong to the 3rd and 4th level of path of preparation. The first 5 powers we discussed last week belong to the 1st and 2nd of the path of preparation. Path of preparation has 4 definitive factors. 4 definitive factors are heat, and peak, forbearance, and excellent dharma. So, and that kind of detailed explanation are not quite found in these texts, but it is found in Abhisamaya Alankara and texts by Asanga and Maitreya and Nagarjuna. So these Indian masters have sort of connected these 37 factors and their relationship with the 5 paths and 10 bhumis and so on. So like say, for instance, next week onwards, when we look at the remaining, now when we have conclude the first 12, 3 lots of 4s, that's 12, 2 lots of 5, that's 10. So 10 plus 12 is 22. We finish 22 factors of enlightenment, and they are all worldly. They are all mundane. They are all mundane. To say the mundane seems very low, but quite advanced. And then the 15 remaining factors of enlightenment constitute 7 limbs and eightfold noble paths. So these 15 constitute very important part of the remaining path of seeing onwards. They are all levels belonging to the exalted state. Those who are already beyond the mundane level. Those who truly realize emptiness, not just conceptually, not just intellectually, they actually always are dwelling in that state of meditative, profound illumination meditation of emptiness. Even between the 10 bhumis, there are considerable difference, considerable difference. But from the point of view of the mundane level, of course, they are extraordinarily exalted. Which means that we need to endeavor our quality of faith in the right objects. And nature of faith shouldn't be attachment. That's very important. And then likewise diligence. Our strength of diligence, should be joyful by seeing the inconceivable qualities, the qualities of the Buddha, inconceivable. Inconceivable qualities are just merely beholding the Buddha can bless your consciousness. Really, the statue, man, we're talking about statues. Just having them around in your room will bless you. This may sound religious, but so be it. I have nothing to confess for that. So that's why one's devotion is incredibly strong. If your devotion is not strong, how would it become so strong when everything is weak, when everything is falling around you? If you don't have that kind of pure perception of the quality of the Buddha, because you know the Buddha, you believe in the Buddha, and therefore every single symbol of the Buddha's body, however small it is, whether it's made out of clay or whether it's made out of gold, one should venerate them. And they become an object that actually influence the subject. We're often influenced by objects. Why can't we have some object that influences us positively? Why we have to always get object that delights the senses and never have deep feelings from your core of your heart? Most of the objects are sensory pleasers. Images of the Buddha, the scriptures of the Dharma, and the teachings truly are pleasing the sixth sense and mental consciousness. And if that sixth sense mental consciousness is awoken and aroused, inspired and motivated, it might be religious phenomena. It might be a spiritual realization. And why not? We don't need the neurology to explain that. Because they can't see anything in the brain except some tofu-looking substance. They're not sure whether it's elastic or not, or plasticity or not. They can tell, but otherwise, how can they say there's faith in there, diligence in there? You can see the pulsation when you have these spiritual experiences of true acquisition of faith in the Dharma. The person's manner towards the Buddha images or the holy scriptures and the arhats, bodhisattvas, the fellow Sangha members, it's already completely tamed by the very positive energy the positive objects are transmitting the teachings. Why it's meritorious to make stupas and statues and temples is because our forefathers all the way to Ashoka. This is 2nd century AD, by the way. That's quite a long time ago. But there was a 2nd century BC. 2nd century BC. He knew that he had to make all that stupas and temples in order to purify all his indespicable misdeeds he performed as a king, who killed so many millions of people, thousands of them, hundreds of them was his own relatives, and so on. When he realized what the hell that he did all of that for, this or that, or for pride, or for prestige, or what, he just felt so sick. And then he knew, he was taught by his teacher, Upagupta, to purify his karma, that he has to build that many stupas. And all his subjects were given order to build millions and millions of stupas. And they are nowadays found as sacred monuments, inspire non-believers. You know, the British government in India, those people who were doing that was completely archaeological, scientific interest, but they felt something in those objects that they had to convince the British India government to excavate the ancient India that was buried under soil. This is part of faith. There's something that is made by people who believed in them. Even their remains, even their ruins, there was something in them that has unearthed or it's caused the resurgence of the Dharma. Even though it is a lone Sri Lankan who had to start a Mahabodhi Society in India, not the Indians started Mahabodhi Society of India. Look at the story of Mahabodhi Society in India. It's quite inspiring. A Sri Lankan layman started the Mahabodhi Society of India. Indians lost the whole thing, you know, generationally speaking. Nowadays, that Anagarika, you know, Dhammapala, that's his name, Sri Lankan. His whole statue became another monument on top of Ashoka's pillars and so on. His monument sculpture looks much more impressive than Ashoka's stupas. Why? Because it's more recently built. Anyway, so this lone Sri Lankan came to India, plead his way, and was able to convince. This is only last century, remember? Nowadays, you go to India, you can recognize where Bodh Gaya is, where Varanasi is. All these are unearthed. They were all underground, under dirt for 200 years ago. Yeah. These are monuments of faith, These are holy sacred objects created by people. This is a real art, a real treasure, and they are protected by UNESCO. Can you believe that? Why is that? Is it because they're very tall? Is it because they're beautiful? No, they are all teachings, graphic, visual teachings. That's what the Buddha said. Those who want to hear about me, ask them to go to visit these places of my birth, enlightenment, preaching the Dharma, where I passed away, and so on and so forth. And he foresaw, of course, that even in 26th century later, there will be even more number of people will visit those than during his day, because more people nowadays can travel. Unlike those days, people took months just to reach India, let alone find those places. What took 7 months nowadays we can do in 1 week. So that's why the faith is a living tradition. Dharma without devotion is dry indeed. In the corridors of academic institutions, they may talk about it, read about it, but there where the faith is alive, you can see it's in the eyes and the culture of the people, what the Dharma means to them. So, faith without lived and believed is not faith, let alone that has a strength and power. Faith moves people, and only if it's the right object and right nature of it. Often lots of people's faith is in attachment to a finite person or individuals or institutions, to a certain identity, titles, high titles. Very dangerous. They are worshipping people I don't see the enlightened one to really take refuge in. People have never been recommended as objects of refuge. When your meditation is so pure and you see yourself as a Buddha or deity, of course, then it doesn't matter. Everybody will be seen as such anyway, so you don't have to particularly divide it to finite people. You will see everybody as a as a reflection of what your meditation is at. So these two sets of five powers and strength we covered the last week and this week is what really covers the entire teachings on the path of preparation. So it's at least for us just being able to become familiarized those concepts and therefore try to recharge our level of faith, our level of diligence, mindfulness, meditative concentration, wisdom, and improve on the level that we best can practice, inspired by the bodhisattvas, aspiring bodhisattvas on the path of preparations and accumulations. And no doubt we are somewhere on the path of accumulation. Maybe even lesser path of accumulation, still path of accumulation, remember that. It's not the non-practitioners just looking over the fence. There's a lot of that. So thank you, everyone. Let's do the dedication of merits with faith, diligence, mindfulness, meditative concentration, and wisdom. Thank you, everyone.